So, unfortunately, Aliyah Boston did not win the 1v1 termed Unrivaled. By the way, she was this close to making the finals, scoring 12 straight points versus what you call it, Alicia Gray. Alicia Gray hit a crazy game winner. Like, I have to say, Alicia Gray hit a crazy, crazy game winner to win that game. That being said, like, what Aliyah Boston showed was kind of mental in this 1v1 competition. And again, wins and losses don't matter. What matters is the translatable skills. So what skills will translate between Aliyah playing right now and Aliyah in the WNBA. And it is, for me, it's the tangible skills. Like, the intangibles don't really matter. Anything that relies on space. Like, I don't care about the 1v1 competition because Aliyah Boston literally just backed people down. She wasn't beating anyone on the perimeter. She backed people down and scored in the post. We know Aliyah does that well. We know Aliyah can do that well. Heck, she missed a kind of gimme for game, which was a bit of a shock, but she had made 5 straight shots. Either way, when it comes down to Aliyah, it is that lateral quickness. It is that lateral speed. And honestly, just sprint speed. The sprint speed and lateral speed is something crazy. And yes, Alicia Gray did get her a couple of times. But like, as time went on, like in that last possession, she's pressing up on Alicia Gray, and Alicia Gray isn't burning her. Alicia Gray is one of the fastest guys in the league. She made the All-WNBA first team last year. She is legitimately one of the toughest matchups for anyone. That being said, like, we're now at the stage where Aliyah Boston was, at least at times doing a competent job of guarding her. And we saw it through this entire competition. Aliyah Boston absolutely at times looked to be the best perimeter defensive big. Like, in the WNBA, I don't know how many better players there are going to be than Aliyah Boston. As defenders. Angel Wilson, maybe. And I don't think she's the rim protector and the interior defender and team defender of an Alana Smith. I don't think she is. But I think she's got, on defense, she could be a higher upside fee. There is a world where Aliyah Boston ends up being the best player in the world. And I don't hate that. I like watching the Anna Fever. I like watching when Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston play, especially with the speed Aliyah Boston's going to be playing at now. They're going to be unguardable. If the Fever win, if just like those Seattle Storm teams back in the day, even if Sue Bird was not the best player on those Storm teams, she was still remembered as the best player, even though she wasn't. Sue Bird did not win a single championship as the best player on that championship team. It was realistically, you were looking at, you were looking on those teams at Lauren Jackson, who was by a decent chunk, the best player on those teams. And with that being said, obviously that's what Lauren Jackson was doing. She was killing it. But everyone remembered Sue Bird. I don't care. If Aliyah Boston's the best player on the team and Caitlin Clark comes out with, does Sue Bird have 3 or 4 rings? I think she has 3. And Caitlin Clark comes out with 4 rings. I don't give a fuck. If Aliyah's their best player, I don't care. I want to turn on Aliyah because she's unbelievable. She's unbelievable. It is one of those things where Aliyah's improvement is scary. I tweeted out this and I was like, Aliyah's improvement since Caitlin came in, or Caitlin's nothing to do with it. Yes, it fucking does. Aliyah Boston came into year 2 bulked up. She bulked up coming into year 2 to work as a back to the basket player. It was only after playing with, and it was only after playing with Caitlin Clark where she realized, okay, we gotta run now. Me bulking up is actually a detriment. And we've now got a situation where Aliyah is realistically the fastest center in the league. And she's going to take over. She is going to take over the WNBA next year. She's shooting more. She's shooting better. She stopped kind of stamping her foot. She stopped kind of stamping her foot when she shoots the ball. Her shot's looking better. She was always a good mid-range shooter, so it's all going from mid-range to three-point shooting is all about, for me, it's not even for me, geez, it's all about the footwork. It's all about being able to generate power out of the feet if you're able to keep your arm movement the same, then you're all good. And you're in a good shape. That being said, Aliyah Boston seems to have done that. Then you've got Caitlin Clark, who's going to find her for three, and you've got Kelsey Mitchell, who can be a cutter. And as long as Stephanie White doesn't do dumb shit like saying, Kelsey, you go play the point guard, and Caitlin, you go stand in that corner. Like, Kelsey Mitchell's a terrible point guard. Like, I understand, like, she can win you a game as a point guard, but over the course of 45 games in the playoffs, she might be good in a occasional game here and there, but she won't be good over a long period of time. But yeah, it is a really interesting one to see what Aliyah Boston is doing, and she is going to take over. She's going to take over in the WNBA, and I don't think people realize just how good Aliyah Boston is going to be, because she is like, look, if you consider Angel Wilson a power forward, because look, how many years have they started Kia Stokes beside her? If you consider Angel Wilson center, cool. Angel's the best center. If you don't, like, there is, for me, coming into next year, because I done this last year, Aliyah had cemented herself as above Jonquel Jones. And now I'm like, it's now Aliyah, it's now Aja, gap, Aliyah, big gap, everybody else. And like, the gap between Aliyah and everybody else is smaller than the gap between Aliyah and Aja. And you're looking at centers in the league. I mean, old people are like, oh, Aliyah needs to play power forward. I'm like, why would you play her power forward? They're like, oh, we need to sign a big center. And it's like, what year is it? We have a 6'3" center who plays 6'5", and who is, we saw with like the Aces how much better they got when Kia Stokes got off the floor and AJ Wilson played center. Like, we're at the stage now where we have a center who operates well in space, who is a stretch five, who's a running five, and can guard bigs and guards and switch the screens. And we're saying player power forward. So that what? We could sign a big center to take up space, to be the pick and roll player. That's not as good. A pick and roll player is not as good as Aliyah Boston, because they might be need to use the pick and roll and just get in everybody's way. Fuck no. Unless that center, his name is Alana Smith or Azare Stevens, who are really fours, Aliyah is still the center. No, just no.